So, what actually happens when an AI agent decides it just doesn't need your web browser anymore? For years, AI tools have been piggybacking on the software we already use every single day. But Anthropic just made this quiet yet absolutely massive shift to its Claude Cowork desktop app, and it effectively cuts Google Chrome right out of the equation.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a calm, investigative look at Anthropic's new desktop browser update. We're going to break down exactly how this new tool works, why it represents a fundamental shift in how AI interacts with the internet, and ultimately what it means for the future of web browsing.
Here's how we're connecting the dots today. 1. Cutting out the middleman. 2. Meet Claude's custom browser. 3. The big Google paradox. 4. The new browser wars. And 5. What happens next? Let's dive in. Part 1. Cutting out the middleman.
Anthropic used some deliberate phrasing in their official blog post for this. They said, many web tasks just need a browser, not your browser. And honestly, that perfectly captures the whole philosophy behind giving Claude Cowork its own dedicated Chromium-based browser right inside the desktop app. It's a subtle distinction, sure, but it is absolutely vital.
Think about the old way, like the Claude in Chrome extension. That method uses your active tabs, your saved logins, the whole shebang. It's super useful for summarizing a document you've already got open. But the new built-in browser, that is a clean, totally isolated slate that opens in a side panel with 0 saved credentials. It's kind of like this. The old way was like a coworker walking over and literally taking over your laptop to help you out. The new way? That coworker brings their own laptop, does the research sitting right next to you, and just hands you the finished result.
Okay, Part 2. Meet Claude's custom browser.
The really crucial point here is that this is a fully autonomous flow. When you give Claude Coworker a prompt that requires searching the web, it automatically opens up a browser in a side panel. Step 1, it navigates the web page. Step 2, reads the content. Step 3, it actively clicks, types, and fills out forms. And Step 4, it just completes the task. Imagine it pulling invoice numbers from a vendor portal while you literally just sit back and watch it happen. Right now, this is rolling out to Pro, Max, and Team plans, and it runs in this secure, temporary environment on Anthropic's own servers.
Now we do have to ground all this cool tech with a really practical safety takeaway. The risk of prompt injection is not zero. If you're not familiar, prompt injection happens when malicious, hidden instructions on a web page actually trick the AI agent into doing something you never asked for. Anthropic has been really candid about this. Even with their safety checks, it's an unresolved risk when an AI is out there surfing the open web. And honestly, that is exactly why this built-in browser doesn't just automatically get access to your sensitive banking or email logins.
Which brings us to Part 3, the big Google paradox.
So Google Chrome absolutely dominates the market, right? We're talking roughly 70% of all global web traffic. But here is the massive paradox. Google is literally one of Anthropic's biggest financial backers. Yet, Anthropic just built a tool specifically designed to bypass Chrome entirely for AI tasks. By keeping users inside the Claude desktop app, Anthropic is slowly but surely chipping away at your need to even open Chrome in the first place. They are directly threatening the core ecosystem of their own major investor.
And the browser isn't the only thing AI companies are trying to replace. Across the board, they are quietly decoupling from big tech infrastructure. Anthropic just set up an in-house chip design team and hired Amir Salek, the former lead of Google's TPU business. Meanwhile, OpenAI is out there showing off metrics for their custom Jalapeno chips to get less reliant on NVIDIA. So giving Claude its own browser? That's really just one piece of this massive drive toward total infrastructure independence.
Part 4. The new browser wars. To really get why this matters, we got to take a quick look at the Digital Markets Act, or DMA, over in the European Union. Article 6.3 is the specific rule that forces designated tech gatekeepers to show users a choice screen. It's the whole reason Google has recently been forced to open up Android to rival assistants and browsers, basically having to explicitly ask people, hey, which software do you actually want to use by default?
But this creates a totally brilliant regulatory loophole. See, Anthropic is not a designated gatekeeper under the DMA. And even more importantly, as the tech publication TNW pointed out, a browser you never actually open yourself doesn't trigger a choice screen. Because Claude opens this thing autonomously in a side panel to do the work for you, it completely bypasses the EU's mandate. The tech industry is essentially building a new default browser that users never even see, let alone choose.
And finally, Part 5. What happens next?
This whole agent-centric AI race is moving at breakneck speed. Look at the timeline.
August 2025, the original Claude Chrome extension launches. Fast forward exactly 1 year to August 2026, and OpenAI folds its standalone Atlas browser into a new ChatGPT work mode that has a built-in browser. Then, just weeks later, Anthropic launches Claude's native browser. Literally, within a single year, major AI labs have normalized these built-in browsers as the new absolute default for digital work.
Which leaves us with this final, somewhat provocative thought. As chatbots evolve into these autonomous agents managing our digital lives, fetching public info, summarizing long documents, filling out forms entirely within their own hidden browsers, user behavior is going to fundamentally change. People are going to spend way less time scrolling through links, and a lot more time just letting agents do the surfing for them. So, is this the beginning of the end for traditional search dominance, and by extension, the massive search ad revenue powering today's web titans? It's a really quiet shift, but the implications are absolutely deafening. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the defaults.